I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions. We'll get away. This is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free with me. Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gaylynn Martling. Hey, I see everybody's showing where they're from. I'm from Riverview, Florida, and I'm just outside of Tampa in Riverview, Florida. So I would love to know if you're around these neck of the woods and where you're from and what you like to do and what your favorite craft is. But most importantly, I want to know if you've got a chance to see my card class. So if you just a refresher, I made this unfold card. It's kind of hard to see. It has some glimmer in it, and it's a diagonal arch card, not an arch, a diagonal unfold shape card. And what I did was I added extra texture with some dry embossing, and also I used some of the items that are like die cuts, and I used colored hot foil. So if you have any questions on those kinds of things, feel free to ask away. If you, I would suggest just really watch the class because I show how I do it, and I'd love for you to see it. So I'm from Riverview. I'm a card maker, and I teach classes for card making online. I have lots of single and bundled classes to take a look at if you'd like that. And I also have a Gold Club membership that is all inclusive. You get everything I have in the club. Um, so I want to know. Let's see what you got here. Do you design specifically, or do you sit and just come up with the idea? Well, you know what? I really get some of these fun projects to work with, and so if I need something like an occasion, if I need a sympathy card or whatever, I'm gonna go and look for specific stamps or dies or files and definitely, create around that project. Now, if I just wanna create and craft, I just pick some of the supplies I want, and that tends to give me an idea of what it is I wanna make. But, I on a whim, I wanna make something fun, like a fun fold card, and recently, I dabbled in journaling and I did some of the art on a journal page instead of the card. I like that too. Sorry, I missed that question that was up. I hope I got it. Gaylin, what alternative to hot foil can I use? There is another, foiling technique that you can use with a laminator called deco foil or foiling with and that's a different kind of foil, but if you don't want all the machines and you happen to have a laminator, that's a good option. You just stamp I have some tutorials on that, you just stamp with watermark ink, then you put some regular foil over that, you can rub it on to apply the foil, or you can, if you have a laser printer, you can print your design and then, add the foil through your laminator. That's regular foil, like deco. What would you say? Let's see, what's your favorite medium? Oh, my favorite medium, I love watercolor. I do a lot of stamping. A design team member with the stamp company, and they have beautiful road rubber stamps, and I love to use those, and I use, like, a hybrid ink, and I watercolor the images. Sometimes I watercolor backgrounds, that's my favorite thing to do. I like to color somewhat. I do have Copic markers, but I do other things like watercolor pencils or just keep blending. What would you say your expertise is or your favorite type of card making technique? Ooh, I like stamping and watercoloring. I like soft backgrounds and soft look. I do some mixed media, but I don't really like a lot of that grunge look. Um, I have done it, and I do it. Sometimes the stamps or the dies lend itself to mixed media, and I'll do that too. So I just really like the soft look of watercolor with stamping, or you can, also with die cuts, and, I love die cuts and playing around with those with ink blending and making little scenes. That's another thing I like. Let's see, what paper is your favorite for the base of your cards? Ooh, that's a good question. So it used to be 110-pound Nina Solar White cardstock. I would buy it by the ream. You can get that on Amazon. But what I found with postage, though, I feel like the heavy cardstock would just get in the way of shipping a card because you're gonna add layers to it and all. So I kinda switched to 80-pound Solar White Nina cardstock, but there are other smooth cardstocks out there. Um, because when I add layers and backgrounds and items like die cuts, I don't want it to be more than an ounce. That's my new thing. I'm really trying hard to get my cards under an ounce. So if I wanna send it, it just takes 1 postage. So I'm changing it from 110-pound to 100 pound when I can. But I still have a lot of that paper left over. Sure you guys have a lot of that too. Have you ever lost your creative inspiration, and how do you get it back? I absolutely do. Sometimes I sit there and I'm like, "How am I gonna do with this?" So, I just really like to have on hand things like the Card Maker Success Summit. I mean, they have so many ideas, and you reach for, projects people might do, and of course, you're not gonna duplicate it exactly, but it's an idea. "Oh, maybe I ought to try that technique," or something like that, and of course, YouTube is a good one to go and, look for ideas. I do have a lot of classes. I have over 80 classes and so many different techniques, and sometimes I just go back and look at my own things and remember what I made because 'cause it's been a long time for some of them, and that gives me, like so I do have to go outside the box and look around sometimes. Do you create for specific occasion or to build your stash? No, I don't need to build my stash because I feel like I've got so many cards, but I do try to think what's coming up. Maybe there's a birthday Um, there's unfortunately, there's sympathy cards that need to be on hand because you don't wanna make those, during the time. So I try to have a stack of sympathy cards, and if I am running low, I'll make like, if I have a flower stand or a flower vase or a cup pile, maybe I'll just make the sentiment be sympathy. So I kinda go along with what's coming up. I have so many cards, I'm really looking for a place to donate them. That's another thing that's gonna be on my priority list this year. Um, any ideas would be great on that if you guys have ideas. When getting ready to make a card, do you start with choosing colors and paper first, or do you start by stamp first? Well, I kinda look at the stamp and the image or the die cut. Lately, I'm doing better press and hot foiling, um, because if it's a cute one, then I'm gonna have a lighthearted occasion. Sometimes it's masculine, and those are great, uh, for guy cards or rustic cards. Usually on the masculine cards, I do tend to add a little distressing, so it gives me that idea, but I start with usually the stamp first, unless there's an occasion like a wedding or what, I'm gonna make something special for that. That, both really kind of. So, what is your favorite paper crafting technique? Well, since I get a lot of stamping ideas, I like to do something that's not so obvious, like, let's say, the layout. I try to switch it up. So maybe, it's the focal point and it's right in the middle. Other times, I wanna make it flip up or make it be on the side and add, like, a border or something. I like to play around like that. It isn't really a technique, but it's a style. Yeah, I try to use something in an unintended way. Like, I have dies and square dies, for instance. Well, instead of always having that be a square on your card, I just, like recently, I just took one of them and I made it like a diamond shape, square background, and it made, like, a graphic look to the card. So I like to play around with, different ways to use my supplies. That's but I really love adding watercolor. Now, I am not a drawer. I don't know how to really draw. Um, my daughter and my husband, they love that, but if I have an image, whether it's a die cut or stamp or a image, digital image, I can work with that, and I can watercolor that. I do use watercolor paper for those, and sometimes, you don't really have to use the watercolor paper if the cardstock is thick enough. Watercolor with stamp. Do you prefer Do you have a preferred theme? Mm. My themes are I really like celebration cards. I like themes that are meant to send out a greeting of some sort. I don't so some of the inspirational sentiments that are out there, I really love them, but I feel like they're more for a journal, and I did just start journaling again. I do Bible journaling, and I also do, just regular mixed media journaling, but I got this little 5 by 5 or 4 by 4 watercolor journaling book, and that's one of my new favorite now, 'cause I can put those inspirational sentiments and things in that, and I use celebration type happy, uplifting, um, sentiments and themes is my favorite thing to do and send out for congratulations, happy birthday, but then there's some serious themes like sympathy, um, and get well, and just to uplift someone. Sometimes people need those kind of cards, so a favorite, I think, is anything positive, uplifting, celebration. That's my favorite. That's my go-to. How do you store your scraps? Oh, okay. So my desk is behind me, and on the other side of the desk, there's some shelves, and I have this one shoebox size box. I don't keep a lot of stuff. I find that, I used to have to take buckets full and just dump them because I get too confused. It takes me too long to go through them. Figure out which one I wanna use for whatever. If it's small, it's gonna stay in that box, and if the box gets big, I just tend to throw the smallest things out first and save some of the bigger pieces, but I don't let it go. I don't let my scraps go to fill up more than that shoebox. It's hard to do. It's really hard to throw away. Do I have a crafting budget? I yes, I do. I try not to spend too much. I try to use what I buy. You have a crafting budget each week or month, and what tips could you give us for keeping on a budget? I think I spend too much. I think I spend too much too. I think, maybe take a look at what you wanna do for the upcoming month and, see what it is that you already have in stock. Because if you have a mushroom stand, do you have, like, 5 mushroom stands? Do you really need that new one that's on sale for that great deal? So, I try to look like that. I try to say, "What do I have already that I can use so I don't have to buy that, and I'll buy another one I like?" So, budget, I just really first of all, I don't wanna spend more than I have. I try not to use a credit card. What helps me is having a certain amount of PayPal and then use that. That kinda helps because a credit card, you can really kinda get unlimited. That can get you in trouble. Um, do you, do you do 1 card at a time or multiples? I know some people like to do more as long as supplies are already out. Yeah, if I can get more cards out of one setting, I love that. So lately, I've been doing, like, 2 or 3 cards around some of the same supplies, and then I just make a video of all 3 in one video and, share them, share them in socials, but it's easier for me to do it that way. Um, Sometimes a kit can be for more than one occasion, so it's simply by switching out the sentiment, you can get different occasions or the same sort of, kit or set that you're working with, whatever it's, stamp by cut file, digital file. I like to switch out the sentiments and have a similar look. So flowers are, something. Any fun events coming up? Well, I wanna let you know I do have a sale on my Gold Club membership, and that is my entire classes and courses, which come with videos and PDF downloads on reference guides. That is 25% off, and, you can find that, there's a link on my worksheet to my membership, and there is a coupon. The coupon is, all caps, gold MAR 25, GOLDMAR 25, you get 25% off of that. That discount, once you use it, is ongoing. You get that for the link that you have the membership in, and so I have a choice of annual and monthly payments for that, and the discount will go for either one. That's just one of the events. I have that expires in April, um, but I'd like to do that for the summit event for all of you if you want extra ideas on card making. And I cover so many different techniques and tutorials. What is your membership about? I just it's online card making. I cover different and I have bundles and classes by theme. Let's say it's no coloring. These are maybe 10 or more cards with you don't have to color if you don't like that. If there's a watercolor package where you get, like, 10 or 13 card ideas and techniques. And so if you wanna browse, you can kinda see the individual courses I have in bundles, and they're usually by theme because people wanna learn some kind of technique. I've got them in there. I've got lots of different so it's online card making, and it's with or without a membership. If you can just get one if you'd like, and you have that at your access for as long as I have my classes online, which is gonna stay there for a while, so, um, that's what it is, card baking. I came in a little late, sorry. Can I ask where you learned to watercolor? I never really had classes per se. I did look at a couple of videos There's a lot of videos out there on how to watercolor. What I knew that I needed to do with watercolor is come up with an image first, or have an image or something, even if it's not an image and it's just a background. And then, I would watch how they did it. There's different techniques with a lot of water and with less water, and with, like, brushes, you get different techniques. So, I try to cover a lot of different ways to watercolor in some of my classes, and, some of my videos, but I just really kinda played with it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like, if you use Copic markers, it's so exact, it's perfect, the blending so but in watercolor, if you want to have a lighter look, you just add a little water to it, and you'll see that that will blend out, and I like colors to blend together. So I've learned to do that. I've learned different ways of adding different looks to watercolor. And sometimes I just do the background, sometimes I color in the image with the watercolor. But always just, you don't have to be perfect. To prevent the blotchy look of watercolor, just use more water. It'll blend like swirly blobs, and that's just beautiful. Let's see. That's a wrap. Thanks for watching. Well, thank you for being here. Thanks so much. If I didn't get your questions, I'll try to mention it in the comments on the video afterwards. You guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching.